What's up guys? Today I'm going to be replacing the rotor rings on my Wilwood big brake kit. I went to the track last year, Streets of Willow, and I went through one of the brake pads completely all the way to the backing plate, and it tore up one of the rotors, and I've just kind of been driving it really easy since then, but it's time to replace them. The procedure in this video is going to be the same for replacing stock rotors, just with a few extra steps, as the Wilwood brake kit does have a two-piece rotor with an aluminum hat. I got my Wilwood replacement rings from Goodwin Racing. They are local to me, but they have an online shop as well, and they have very knowledgeable staff about all Miata things, especially the race car stuff. Oh my god, man, they're black! I've heard people say they don't want to buy these Wilwood replacement rings because they don't want black rotors on their car. It's kind of a misconception because they don't stay black. As soon as you break them in, they're normal rotor color. The reason they are coated is because all the places that the pad doesn't touch have a protective coating against rust, so it's actually a pretty sweet idea. First things first, go ahead and remove your wheel. It'll give me a chance to clean this thing up. I do run 20mm spacers on my car, and in order to remove those you will need an assistant to step on your brakes while you loosen the torque on those nuts. The next thing we're going to do is remove the caliper. You have a 14mm bolt here, and then another one up here on top. And stock brakes are going to be really similar to this as well. Before you unbolt the caliper, you want to have something you can set it down on, like this, so you're not putting excess tension on the brake line. Once you remove the caliper, your rotor can come right off. If you look really closely, you can see some of the damage that I did to this rotor by going all the way through the brake pad like that, so always check your pad life before you go to the track, guys. Next, I'm going to loosen up all of the hat bolts. This one in particular takes a T40 Torx. Then your rotor ring just comes right off the hat. Before reinstalling the bolt, you want to make sure the threads are clean and dry. For the Loctite, I like to just use a little metal brush to clean any debris out. And then afterwards, just use a little brake cleaner, get anything out of there. If your threads are clean and dry, the Loctite will be able to work better. Same with the hat itself, make sure the bolt holes are just cleaned out a bit with some brake cleaner. Once the brake cleaner is all dry, you're ready for reassembly, so just set your new rotor ring on top of the hat. And just put a little bit of high temperature thread locker on each bolt before you put it in. For now, just get the bolt started. We're going to tighten them in a specific sequence and to the proper torque later. And guys, don't skip the thread locker. Just trust me on this one. I've had one of my rings come loose on the freeway, and assembling my brakes next to 70-mile-per-hour traffic on the shoulder, it's just not fun. So thread locker's not expensive, just use it. Now that I have the bolts all finger tight, I'm going to tighten them in a sequence that is not a circle, basically. If you use any kind of cross sequence, you're going to be okay. What I like to do is skip 2, skip 1. So I'm going to start with the top one. I'm going to skip 2, I'm going to torque this one. I'm going to skip 1, torque this one. Skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, skip 1. So I usually just like to do things by feel, but for something like this, I'm tightening a small bolt into aluminum, and it's a part of my brake system, so I like to be a little bit more precise. These bolts, as far as what I looked up, need to be about 180 inch-pounds or 19.5 Newton-meters for my overseas followers. Skip 2, come down here. Skip 1. Since I'm not going to be replacing the pads today, I'm ready to put the rotor back on. Make sure you pay attention to the direction that the rotor is supposed to spin, because they are directional. If you have the Wilwood kit or any other big brake kit, there might be shims on your calipers. Just make sure you pay attention when you take the calipers off, how many shims are on the front side and the back side, because that does make a difference. On my kit in particular, there's 2 shims on the inside of the caliper, and that's how it's centered best. The caliper goes on the same way it came off, and after you get both sides done, you're ready to take it out and bed the pads to the rotor. Don't forget, when you do new pads or new rotors or both, they're not exactly friends when you first put them on. So when you first roll out of your driveway to take the car out, your brakes are gonna feel a little slippery. They're not gonna be optimal yet. So you have to bed them in. And basically what it is you're going medium speed, 20, 30 miles an hour, and doing several moderate to heavy stops to get some heat into the brakes and make the pad surface friends with the rotor surface. And then the brakes will become a lot more effective after that time. It's a pretty short break-in period. What's up, guys? So I'm out bedding the pads in, and I just stopped to let the brakes cool down. I wanted to show you something. As you can see, the contact area for the pads is now completely silver, so the rotors don't stay black at all. I probably only have 5 or 10 miles and it's completely gone. The cross drilling and the slotting, they keep that coating, which will protect the rotors from rusting there. I've been running this brake kit for about a year now. I've been boosted the whole time and done autocross and a track day, and even at Streets of Willow doing 100 miles an hour plus on both straights, repeated stops. Having only a street pad in the Willwood setup, it did not experience any fade the whole day. And the rear brakes I have are stock. I have a Willwood proportioning valve, but I definitely recommend this front brake setup if you're looking to go for a big brake kit. And if you're going turbo, big brakes are the way to go, because it's one thing to go fast, but you got to be able to stop. So Goodwin Racing actually carries these brakes. Check out goodwinracing.com. Pick yourself up a BBK. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.